Hello and welcome back to goldstocktrades.com. Today we have a returning guest with us, Rob McLeod. Rob is CEO of IDM Mining, which can be traded as IDM on the TSX Venture and as RVRCF on the OTC. Thanks, Rob, for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today.
Great to speak with you this morning, Jeb.
Rob, we saw the PEA that came out, the preliminary economic assessment, which showed that the Red Mountain project in British Columbia was a low capex situation. Since that PEA, you've hit on some very impressive results, drilling results. If you could kind of take a step back and take my readers through that PEA that you developed in July and what you've done since then to make this project even better.
Yeah, absolutely. So when IDM acquired the property in 2014, there was a previous PEA from a previous optioner from Seabridge that we weren't overly impressed with. So we quickly put out a new vision for development at Red Mountain. So that came out in 2014 in January. And it was a little bit dated in terms of thinking on how we can effectively develop Red Mountain in the most cost-effective way. So in July of this year, we amended that PEA to show a change of scope, where we had moved our plant location from adjacent to the deposit, which is located in a high alpine area in the coastal mountains of British Columbia, down lower into the adjacent valley, which will enable us to process at a rate of 1,000 tons per day year-round. I won't sugarcoat the challenge to this part of the world, and the nearby Valley of the Kings deposit that's being developed by Pretium also has to deal with major snow issues and weather. It is a challenging part of the world to work in. But given our close proximity to my hometown of Stewart, BC, which is a mining town, we've got a great location that will enable us to develop this project for a very reasonable capital cost. So we're looking at, in Canadian dollars, a little over 100 million to build this 1,000 ton per day operation. And one of the best aspects of the deposit is that not only is it high grade, it averages fully diluted, life of mine, 7 grams per ton, but it's also a wide ore body. So it's amenable to bulk underground mining techniques. And our average stope width, a stope is basically the room that they mine the gold out of, would be almost 50 feet wide. So in our PEA, we believe that we can produce gold in around $450 per ounce range, including some of the byproduct silver that we'll produce. So would be one of the lower cost underground gold producers in the Western world.
Rob, let's talk about the exploration upside here, because not only will you have possibly a low cost mine here, but the exploration upside seems to be quite exciting. You're consistently hitting really excellent results at Red Mountain. Talk to us about the new discovery at Lost Valley and the potential to add these high-grade underground resources.
Yeah, absolutely. We've, with the resurgence of the junior mining market, particularly for precious metals, we've taken the opportunity to really demonstrate to the market the tremendous exploration upside to this project. We're not going to lose sight of our primary objective to complete our feasibility study in the first quarter of 2017 and commence construction later in the year upon receipt of our permits. So we've gone out in basically kind of two-pronged approach for exploration. One is to look for additional resources and new zones proximal to the existing resource area. We have a full-size production decline. This is a big underground drift. It's about 15 feet by 15 feet, and we've been doing some underground drilling from there, and I'll talk about some of the results in a second. But we've also done some surface prospecting, and one unique aspect to exploration in this part of the world is that the rapidly melting glaciers are exposing all sorts of new rock that's never been prospected before. And, I started my career as a geologist at Red Mountain in 1993 and 1994, and this Lost Valley area that we've been prospecting, we've discovered a whole series of high-grade veins. It's a bit of a different style of mineralization from the Mark Zone, which is located a couple of miles away. But a highlight is, and we just announced a couple of weeks ago, this new structure that we call Money Rock, and it's a wide, shallow dipping, massive pyrite and vein system. We trenched it just with some hand tools, shovels, and kind of old school prospecting, and it averaged 18.7 grams per ton and gold and 61 grams per ton silver over almost 100 feet of the exposed trench. Now, the average thickness that we sampled was a little under 3 feet, but we think the structure is much wider. We couldn't dig much further into the overburden with hand tools, and we found stacked structures, again shallow dipping above and below, several of them. So this is a new high-grade discovery, never seen before. 5 years ago, it was underneath glacial ice that we want to get some drill holes into later on this year. And I think I've mentioned this story to you before, Jeb, but the Valley of the King zone that Pretium is developing, it only melted out from under the ice a little under 10 years ago. Similarly, with Seabridge's KSM deposits, the Mitchell zone similarly was just recently melted out from under glaciers. So it's this is raw exploration, geology, and prospecting, and we're delivering some phenomenal results from that area. Now to our underground drilling program, we just announced today the discovery of a brand new zone located underneath our resource area. We're calling it the NK zone, and we intercepted 6 meters, and that's a true thickness of 7.4 grams per ton gold and 12 grams per ton silver. And this is wide open for expansion. We also released some results from the Mark Zone, which sits just above it, and some phenomenal results we've released over the past couple of weeks. Such as 20 meters of 9 grams gold, 12 meters of 10, 13 meters of 5.6, 15 meters of 15.5, and we've opened up that zone for expansion to the south. This is near surface intercepts in an area that was previously thought to be closed off. So very exciting times up there.
And Rob, it's exciting times for our sector, especially for near-term producers located in Canada. We've recently seen a big uptick in interest and consolidation, M&A, in Canada, most notably Kaminak, which was taken over by Goldcorp, and then there was Lakeshore Gold and Claude. Could you sort of highlight where IDM's Red Mountain project sits in comparison to some of those advanced near-term producing Canadian companies?
Well, it's a very short list. There's a real dearth of near-term shovel-ready development projects for that. Certainly, ones that are affordable. You can look at for Canadian projects. There's two major components to Canadian operations and projects that we have going for us, and one is the exchange rate. We're maybe $120, $130 below the all-time high in the price of gold, priced in Canadian dollars due to the weak Canadian currency. And you look around, and there's Kaminak Resources with their Hope Bay development project, Atlantic Gold, which is going into production, and then a couple of smaller producers such as Richmont and Westdome, and that's pretty well it. There's lots of exploration plays. There's lots of big ideas, but there's very few of these type of deposits around. And the other benefit is that Canada's in terms of political risk, it's a great place to develop mines. We have a streamlined process for permitting in British Columbia. Later on this fall, we expect to file our environmental application to the regulators, and the maximum time that they can take to review is 180 days. And so, as opposed to a lot of development projects that are in developing nations, we have a well-established rule of law and mining code, and you don't have to deal with that high political risk card. And certainly for this area of British Columbia, this is mining country. I'm a third generation miner from Stewart. And it's probably one of the most pro-development places on the planet, and the local Indigenous population or First Nations, as they're called in Canada, they've been very supportive. We have a great relationship with them. We're currently in impact benefit negotiations with them. This is the Nisga'a First Nation, and as an example, over the past year and a half or so, they've signed IBAs with both Seabridge and Pretium, as well as a third company with a molybdenum project. So, there is a lot of interest from mid-tier producers out there in assets such as Red Mountain.
Rob McLeod, CEO of IDM Mining, which can be traded as IDM on the TSX Venture and as RVRCF on the OTC. Thanks so much for being here with us today and for giving us and for keeping us updated on IDM Mining.
Yeah, absolutely, and look for a pretty exciting bunch of news that we'll be releasing this fall. We're still drilling up there, so thanks a lot, Jim.